What makes a film timeless? Is it the way it captures the essence of its time, or the way it makes us feel when we watch it? British cinema has given the world some of the most unforgettable, groundbreaking films that not only reflect the country's soul, but also shape the way we experience stories. From sweeping epics to gritty dramas, these films have changed the game forever. Buckle up, because we're diving into 15 British films you absolutely have to see, and trust me, number 1 might surprise you. Number 15, The Long Good Friday, 1980. In a world full of crime dramas, The Long Good Friday takes the genre to new heights with its unmatched intensity. It's the British gangster film that doesn't hold back, painting a bleak picture of 1980s London, where the mafia isn't just a crime organization, it's a ticking time bomb. Bob Hoskins' unforgettable performance as the ambitious Harold Shand, a mob boss desperately trying to go legit, anchors this masterpiece. What sets it apart is its exploration of ambition, betrayal, and the cold, harsh world of organized crime. The film does more than just tell a story of gangsters. It unravels the grit of a city on the brink of change. The gritty cinematography, paired with an iconic soundtrack, builds a level of tension rarely seen in crime cinema. The film doesn't just show the violence, it lets you feel it, making every explosion and confrontation pulse with energy. Its brutal honesty about the decay of a character's moral compass echoes through the decades. It's a film that left an indelible mark, redefining the British gangster genre. Number 14, The Ladykillers, 1955. You might expect a quaint little comedy about a bunch of oddballs, but The Ladykillers is anything but. This Ealing Studios classic has a darkly hilarious bite that gets sharper with every viewing. Alec Guinness leads a team of eccentric criminals who try to outsmart a sweet, elderly woman. But it's the woman who outsmarts them all. The film might seem like a gentle farce at first, but don't be fooled. It's a mockery of both British politeness and criminal ineptitude, turning the most ordinary circumstances into a web of increasingly outrageous schemes. What really makes this film unforgettable, however, is its atmosphere. The pacing feels like a ticking clock, and the comedy is as cold as it is clever, with every character hiding a darker side. In typical Ealing style, it doesn't shy away from humor laced with subtle moral lessons. This is a black comedy that continues to stand tall as one of the finest examples of British wit and subversive humor. Number 13, This Sporting Life, 1963. This Sporting Life isn't just about rugby. It's a visceral exploration of the human condition, set against the backdrop of a working-class man's struggle to achieve something beyond his grasp. Richard Harris stars as Frank Machine, a rugby player whose violent nature, both on and off the field, keeps him locked in a relentless cycle of self-destruction. The film dives deep into themes of masculinity, ambition, and alienation, exploring a character who's torn between his personal desires and societal expectations. Directed by Lindsay Anderson, this film rejects the sanitized sports movie narrative. Instead, it immerses you in the raw, unforgiving world of post-war Britain. It's not just about the sport. It's about the emotional and psychological cost of a man willing to sacrifice everything for success. Harris's performance is nothing short of magnetic, pushing the limits of what we expect from a leading man. It's a film that challenges you to question the price of fame and success, leaving you unsettled long after the final whistle. Number 12, A Matter of Life and Death, 1946. A Matter of Life and Death is where British cinema truly learned how to blend fantasy with the profound. Director Michael Powell and screenwriter Emmerich Pressburger's tale of life, death, and the afterlife is a stunning piece of filmmaking, famous for its vibrant technicolor and brilliant storytelling. The plot revolves around Peter Carter, a Royal Air Force pilot who cheats death after a plane crash and finds himself in limbo, fighting to prove his case for life to a heavenly tribunal. What's truly remarkable about this film is how it uses its fantastical premise to discuss the real, raw emotions of life. The sequences between Earth and the afterlife are brilliantly staged, one foot in reality, the other in a visually inventive, dreamlike world. It's about love, fate, and the decision to hold on to life against all odds. The film's conclusion will have you contemplating your own sense of mortality long after the credits roll. It's a film that speaks to universal human themes, making you laugh, cry, and question what it means to be truly alive. Number 11. Peeping Tom, 1960. Before there was Psycho, there was Peeping Tom, a film that practically invented the concept of the psychological thriller. Directed by Michael Powell, it tells the unsettling story of Mark Lewis, a cameraman who films the murders of his victims while simultaneously recording their final moments. It's a chilling dive into voyeurism, guilt, and the damaging effects of childhood trauma. The film was so ahead of its time that it was nearly blacklisted for its unflinching look at a disturbed mind. The psychological depth and moral complexity in the film are what make it stand out. It's a character study disguised as a slasher, drawing you into the mind of a murderer without ever making him seem one-dimensional. The voyeuristic element, filmed with such chilling precision, still resonates in modern horror. Peeping Tom's shocking impact on the genre can't be overstated. It inspired an entire wave of filmmakers to rethink how we view horror and the human psyche. Today, it stands as a cult classic, a dark gem that forever changed the landscape of British cinema. Number 10, The Third Man, 1949. There's noir, and then there's The Third Man. This is not just a film, it's a cinematic blueprint for everything that came after it. Set in post-World War II Vienna, this film flips the script on traditional thrillers, using the decayed, bombed-out city as both a backdrop and a character. The atmosphere is thick with moral ambiguity, with Orson Welles' unforgettable Harry Lime standing as one of cinema's most charismatic and morally twisted characters. What makes The Third Man so powerful isn't just the plot, it's the way the film manipulates its viewers. The cinematography is brilliant, with every shadow and crooked angle adding to the sense of paranoia. The use of the zither as the central soundtrack gives the whole film a haunting, almost jarring soundscape that lingers with you. It's a relentless dance of tension, where nothing, not even the truth, is what it seems. In many ways, The Third Man defined the genre, and even today, its influence is felt in every modern noir and crime thriller. A film that offers no clear answers, only chilling questions. It's a must-watch for anyone interested in the power of cinema to unsettle. Number 9, Lawrence of Arabia, 1962. Forget the legend Lawrence of Arabia redefined how we look at epics. The desert, once a barren landscape in the eyes of most filmmakers, becomes a living, breathing character here. David Lean's masterpiece, starring Peter O'Toole in the iconic role of T.E. Lawrence, isn't just about the First World War in the Middle East. It's about the inner conflict of a man caught between two worlds. The film's sweeping cinematography captures the vast, unforgiving desert as a metaphor for Lawrence's own fractured psyche. From the moment the camera captures Lawrence's figure against the horizon, you know you're witnessing something monumental. The movie is a visual feast, with its massive landscapes dwarfing the characters, making the struggles of man seem insignificant against the immensity of nature. But the power of Lawrence of Arabia lies in its ability to make that small human struggle feel immense. It's a film that gets under your skin and makes you question what it means to be both a hero and a man. The legacy of Lawrence continues to ripple through cinema, and it still stands as one of the most profound, grandiose works ever committed to film. Number 8, Great Expectations, 1946. When you think of Dickens, you think of a world of misty streets, cold winds, and characters bound by fate. Great Expectations, directed by David Lean, takes that world and brings it to life in a way that's both haunting and mesmerizing. Unlike most adaptations, this film strips away any remnants of sentimentalism. Lean takes the viewer into the harsh, gothic world of Pip, where every corner seems to threaten the collapse of dreams, and every step forward feels like a slow descent into oblivion. The film's atmosphere is chilling. The fog-clad marshes and looming gravestones set the stage for a psychological journey as much as a narrative one. The use of forced perspective to make sets feel like they're closing in on the characters creates an oppressive feeling, as if the world itself is out to swallow them. This isn't just an adaptation, it's a nightmare wrapped in Victorian literature. The film's shadowy look, combined with its masterful direction and unforgettable performances, has made it one of the greatest British films ever made. It doesn't just capture the story, it redefines what Dickens can be on screen. Number 7, The 39 Steps, 1935. Alfred Hitchcock wasn't just a director. He was a magician with the suspense genre. And with The 39 Steps, he not only created the blueprint for the modern thriller, he threw it out the window and rebuilt it from the ground up. The story's simple. A man is caught in a conspiracy, framed for a murder he didn't commit, and forced to go on the run. But what Hitchcock does with this formula is nothing short of genius. The tension doesn't just come from the chase, it comes from the locations, the actors, and the rapid-fire pacing. Every 10 minutes, the film takes us somewhere new, from a bustling music hall to the moody Scottish Highlands. The 39 Steps is a perfect example of Hitchcock's MacGuffin theory, where the object of the chase doesn't matter, it's the chase itself that matters. Robert Donat's portrayal of the everyman caught in extraordinary circumstances is a masterstroke. His chemistry with Madeleine Carroll creating an electric tension. It's a high-speed roller coaster that sets the standard for everything that came after, influencing everything from James Bond to modern action films. Hitchcock didn't just change British cinema with this film, he shaped the entire suspense genre for decades to come. Number 6, Kind Hearts and Coronets, 1949. At first glance, Kind Hearts and Coronets might look like your average British comedy, but don't let the polite veneer fool you. This film is a black comedy with a razor-sharp edge. Alec Guinness plays 8 members of the same family, all of whom fall victim to the sly manipulations of Louis Mazzini, played by Dennis Price. Mazzini is on a mission to kill every relative standing between him and the title of Duke. It's as dark as it is hilarious, and what makes it even more brilliant is the matter-of-fact way the film handles its violence. There's no melodrama, no emotional weight, just cold, calculated murder wrapped in the driest wit. The real magic of the film lies in its subversive look at the class system. Here, the aristocracy is exposed as ridiculous, disposable, and deeply corrupt. The British class system, at the height of its pomp, is poked and prodded in a way that's still relevant today. It's a film that laughs at the upper class while making you wonder, are they really any different from the rest of us? Kind Hearts and Coronets isn't just a comedy, it's a biting critique of a society that's all too happy to laugh at its own expense. Number 5, Get Carter, 1971. Get Carter didn't just reinvent the British crime film, it stripped it of every comforting illusion. Directed by Mike Hodges, this 1971 classic drops Michael Caine's Jack Carter into a bleak industrial North England where violence is casual, loyalty is transactional, and morality barely exists. Carter isn't a hero. He isn't even an anti-hero. He's a blunt instrument moving through a world just as cold as he is. What makes Get Carter so enduring is its refusal to glamorize crime. This isn't London elegance or gangster bravado, it's grimy flats, rundown streets, and violence that arrives suddenly and without ceremony. Caine's performance is terrifying precisely because it's restrained. Carter doesn't rage, he calculates. Every movement feels inevitable, as if the outcome was decided long before the film began. The film's realism was shocking in its time. Sexual exploitation, corruption, and casual brutality are presented without commentary or moral cushioning. The camera observes, never excuses. Even the ending denies satisfaction, closing not with triumph, but with emptiness. Get Carter endures because it understands something fundamental. Crime doesn't create legends, it creates wreckage. And once you step into Carter's world, there's no clean way out. Number 4, Brief Encounter, 1945. Brief Encounter is proof that the most devastating love stories don't need scandal or spectacle. Directed by David Lean, this 1945 classic unfolds quietly, almost politely, yet its emotional weight is crushing. The story follows Laura Jessen, a married woman whose chance meeting with a stranger at a railway station turns into a deeply felt, impossible love. There are no affairs hidden in shadows, no dramatic escapes. Instead, there is restraint, and that restraint is what makes the film unforgettable. Every glance carries meaning, every pause aches. Celia Johnson delivers one of the most subtle performances in cinema history, revealing heartbreak through hesitation rather than confession. Her internal monologue exposes a woman torn not by society's judgment, but by her own moral compass. Love in this world is not liberating, it is destabilizing. David Lean uses ordinary settings to extraordinary effect. Trains roar past like time itself, indifferent to personal tragedy. Rachmaninoff's swelling score fills the emotional space the characters cannot. Brief Encounter endures because it understands something timeless. Sometimes the greatest sacrifices are the ones no one ever sees. It's a quiet film, but its silence echoes for decades. Number 3, The Red Shoes, 1948. If you think ballet is just about pirouettes and graceful movements, The Red Shoes is here to prove you wrong. Michael Powell and Emmerich Pressburger's Technicolor masterpiece isn't just a backstage drama about the sacrifices an artist makes for their art. It's a psychological thriller about obsession, control, and the price of perfection. The story revolves around Vicky Page, a young ballerina torn between her love for dance and her relationships with the two men who control her director, and her lover. The film's legendary 17-minute ballet sequence, where reality bends and the set becomes a dizzying, impossible world, is a visual feast that still wows audiences. What makes The Red Shoes so groundbreaking is the way it uses color, movement, and music to express emotional depth. The Technicolor cinematography is so vibrant that it almost feels like the red shoes themselves are alive, pulling the dancer and the viewer into an unrelenting, hypnotic trance. Powell and Pressburger didn't just craft a ballet film, they created a haunting meditation on obsession, sacrifice, and the brutal cost of devotion. It's a film that pushes the boundaries of cinema, and its influence can still be felt today in everything from dance films to psychological thrillers. Number 2, Trainspotting, 1996. It should have been a small, gritty drama about heroin addicts, but Trainspotting became an unforgettable jolt of adrenaline that forever altered British cinema. Directed by Danny Boyle, this film is a kaleidoscope of wild colors, haunting music, and unforgettable characters. And it's one of the most stylish and brutally honest looks at addiction ever put to film. Mark Renton, played by Ewan McGregor, is the film's anti-hero, a young man caught in the seductive and destructive world of heroin addiction. But Trainspotting is more than just about drugs. It's about a generation's disillusionment with society, a critique wrapped in the chaos of drugs, violence, and dark humor. Boyle's direction is as energetic as it is bold, flipping between moments of despair and bursts of exhilaration, all while showcasing one of the most iconic soundtracks in film history. The film doesn't just depict addiction, it shows the messy, chaotic allure of it, and the brutal cost that comes with it. Trainspotting changed how British films were viewed around the world, breaking down barriers with its unapologetic energy and rebellious spirit. It marked the end of the polite British film era and ushered in a new wave of gritty, fast-paced cinema that didn't shy away from uncomfortable truths. Number 1, Kes, 1969. Kes is not just a film, it's a reckoning. Directed by Ken Loach, this 1969 masterpiece strips British cinema of comfort and illusion. Set in a Yorkshire mining town, it follows Billy Casper, a boy already discarded by the education system, his family, and his future. Teachers humiliate him. Authority figures crush curiosity. Adulthood promises nothing but repetition and exhaustion. Then Billy finds a kestrel. The relationship is simple, unsentimental, and temporary, but it changes everything. Training the bird gives Billy focus, dignity, and a brief sense of control over something beautiful. Loach films this without romantic gloss. The performances feel raw because they are. Many actors were non-professionals, and the authenticity is unmistakable. What makes Kes the greatest British film isn't hope, it's honesty. The film refuses to offer escape fantasies. Talent doesn't save Billy, kindness doesn't rewrite his fate, but meaning still exists, even briefly, and that truth cuts deeper than any triumphant ending ever could. More than 50 years later, Kes remains devastatingly relevant, a quiet indictment of systems that fail children before they ever get a chance to fly. There you have it, 15 British films that have defined cinema. These classics didn't just tell stories, they transformed the way we think about film and the world around us. Do you agree with our list, or did we miss your favorite British gem? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, like, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of cinema. And remember, the most unforgettable films are often the ones that push us the most. Keep watching, keep questioning, and keep loving the art of film.